Most Americans will not be able to retire when they want to, or possibly ever. The numbers aren't opinion. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how big the gap is between what people have saved and what they actually need, and the 4 rules that separate the people who retire comfortably from the people who don't. Here's the brutal math. The median retirement account balance for Americans aged 55 to 64, the people most actively planning retirement, is around $87,000 per Fidelity. The amount most retirement researchers say a household actually needs to fund a comfortable retirement, about $1.5 million. The gap between what people have and what they need is roughly $1.4 million. That's not a small adjustment. That's a different reality entirely. What does ready to retire actually mean? 4 things. 1. Enough savings to fund roughly 30 years of expenses without working. 2. Using the 4% rule, that means 25 times your annual spending. 3. Social Security covers about $25,000 per year for the average recipient. Useful, but not enough on its own. 4. Most people underestimate retirement spending because healthcare, taxes, and longevity all rise faster than they expect. Here's the actual data. Median 401k balance by age per Fidelity 2024. Americans in their 20s, about $11,000. 30s, $40,000. 40s, $80,000. 50s, $130,000. 60s, when most people plan to retire, about $180,000. Compared to the 1.5 million typical retirement target, the numbers aren't close. Let's quantify the gap. A typical 60-something with $180,000 saved, using the 4% rule, can pull about $7,200 per year from their savings. Add the average Social Security benefit of $25,000. Total annual income, about $32,000. The median retired American household actually spends around $57,000 per year. The shortfall, $25,000 short every year for 30 years. Here's the difference between people on track and people not. The average American saves less than 5% of their income, starts saving in their 30s or later, leaves money in cash or low-yielding accounts, and never runs the math. Someone on track saves 15% or more, starts by age 25, uses both a workplace retirement plan and a Roth IRA, invests in low-cost index funds, and runs the math regularly. Same income, completely different outcome. By age 65, the average retires with around $180,000. The on-track retires with over $1 million. 4 rules to be the exception. Rule 1. Save 15% of every paycheck, including any employer match, automatically before you see the money. Rule 2. Start as early as possible. The math is brutal. $200 a month from age 25 becomes about $1 million by 65 at 8%. Wait until 35. The same monthly contribution becomes only $450,000. Rule 3. Invest in low-cost index funds, not cash, not active funds, not your company stock. Rule 4. Increase your savings rate by 1% every year you get a raise. You'll barely notice and it'll change everything. Most Americans will not retire comfortably. The data is brutal, but it's not personal. It's just math. Save 15%. Start as early as possible. Invest in index funds. Raise the rate every year. The gap between people who retire comfortably and people who don't isn't intelligence or luck. It's the discipline to do these 4 things consistently for 30 years.